There are so many Americans that do not know what this medal represents or what sacrifices a lot of men and women have made for this country. And I hope one of these days they will learn.
It's hard for me to convey how important freedom is. And I didn't appreciate it, and I don't know that anyone can until they've lost it. It doesn't happen automatically. It's got to be re-earned by every generation, or at least every other generation. If you let it slip very long, it's gone.
My deal is inconsequential the way I see it. Some of those guys, you just cannot believe what they did. What they were fighting for was our freedom.
I had relatives that had been in the various services, the Army, the Air Force, I had one in the Navy. I always enjoyed listening to their experiences, especially the whole idea of what it was like to serve.
My grandpa was a Quaker, and he had quite an influence on my life. So I guess I envisioned myself as a conscientious objector, but when Pearl Harbor happened, I felt that it was not only my duty, but my privilege to serve the country.
I was liberated from the German camp by the 11th Armored Division. This was something you never forget. I made a promise. Lord help me, if I ever go to America, I'm gonna become a G.I. Joe.
My brother was talking about joining the service because they were starting up the selective service system. And I said, well, I'm going to go with you. We had a pact. We knew that when we were in combat, regardless of what happened to one or the other, we would forgive the other if we're not stopping to help him because he had to keep on fighting.
Something you couldn't describe, I couldn't describe. Screaming and hollering, you know. And first thing you know, all my men were either hit or dead.
We go in, and the helicopters start taking fire up to a thoroughly bad situation. With the helicopter down, there wasn't any choice. We had to go in.
My platoon leader said, withdraw. And I didn't want to withdraw.
I'd already been ordered to get off the hill, take your people, get out of there, leave the mountain yards. Like, you gotta be friggin' joking.
It looked like that the Corps commander wanted to leave our soldiers there, and of course we don't do that.
We agreed amongst ourselves that we would never surrender. We would go down fighting. So we had that commitment to each other. Everybody knew that.
So I packed up my remaining Marines, and this was without any orders. And we said, we got to go help those kids.
I told him I was going after this guy, and Kit said, if you go, I'll go. I said, okay, but I'm not sure either one of us are coming back. So you know what's out there.
So it happened. I felt something had to be done. I didn't even think about it, just did it.
I felt, yes, there was a chance that I wouldn't, but to save Jesse's life was worth it.
I just felt that we had to do it, and I called the command post and told them I was doing it. I didn't ask him, I just told him I was doing it.
I wasn't going to sit there and see my troopers go. I mean, if we went, we're going together.
When I was a kid, I remember my uncles and my friends' dads talking about World War II, but they never talked about the shooting part, you know, the dying part. They never said, listen, son, war is hell, and you know, it's something you don't want to do.
We call ourselves recipients, and people call us winners, and you see, we're not winners because we weren't in a competition for trying to win anything. We happen to be recognized by our fellow men, and so we wear this medal to honor them and to honor the guys who really paid the supreme sacrifice, because we are here today because of them.
When I received the Medal of Honor, I went in the office of the Commandant of the United States Marine Corps. He was also a Medal of Honor recipient from Guadalcanal. But he said to me, very sternly, that medal does not belong to you. He said it belongs to all the Marines who did not get to come home. The medal represents what the country has always stood for: sacrifice.
The cliche is that you're wearing it, and a lot of guys that should have gotten it didn't. And I think that's so true. A young kid told me, he said, you know, my dad was in Vietnam and he was killed, and I'm pretty sure that he should have earned a medal. And I told him, well, I wear it for him then.
After President Nixon gave us the medal, I stayed in my motel room. I didn't feel like celebrating. I had a real tough time remembering all that stuff again. And many of the guys in the society will tell you that for years I did not participate in any events. I wouldn't come to the inaugurals, I wouldn't come to conventions, because I still don't feel worthy. But it was just too difficult of a thing for me to bear. But there's a verse in the Psalms that says that man that is in honor and understands not is like a beast that perishes. And I've come to understand that what this medal represents it's not about me. It's about men and women who value something so strongly that they'd be willing to die for it. And they'd be willing to defend our country for it. And so they put on the uniform.
I've been around the world in a lot of places, and without exception, American soldier is somebody that's willing to make sacrifices for those on the left and the right. And you're willing to do that because you know they're doing it for you.
What is it that motivates these soldiers to do what they have to do on the battlefield every day? Because, you know, they see their buddies getting shot, getting killed, getting wounded, and yet they're there the next morning to get on the helicopters to go out for another helicopter assault. There's a special bond when you are with your fellow soldiers going through dangerous things every day that you want to reach out and care for them and protect them. And I found that to be the single thing that just makes up the American soldier today.
I try to tell the kids of how many great sacrifices that people have had to give you the freedom to be able to do what you're doing today. How many great men and women have lost their lives.
Freedom didn't come cheap. You know, somebody's got to pay for it. And the lives of these people are very precious. You know, and a lot of people think that great thing about the Medal of Honor is it's awarded by Congress and presented by the President. But to me, the real honor of the Medal of Honor is that a handful of young men who were with you at a difficult time thought you was worthy of it.
I'm alive today because I had them damn good men. Huh? I get emotional about it. We're in a free country. And why are we? Because a lot of people, black, white, yellow, went and gave their lives so that you and I can live free. Huh? Simple as that.